Shipman always signed his victims' death certificates, backdated their medical records, and had them cremated.
Welcome to WatchMojo UK, and today we're looking at murderers who decided to hide where all could see them.
You're Christie. John Reginald Christie. I shall have to take you into custody.
Before we begin, we publish new content every day, so be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. The Yorkshire Ripper.
As Peter Sutcliffe carried on killing, the collection of clues became vast, and there were no computers to manage it all.
Also known as Peter Sutcliffe, he was questioned by police a total of 9 times before he was finally revealed as a killer. He was wreaking havoc upon northern England for a total of 5 years before finally getting caught in 1981. Sutcliffe wasn't arrested because of a gory crime though, it was for fake number plates.
Everything was written and stored on index cards. The paperwork simply overwhelmed detectives.
Police stopped him in Sheffield, where he was found with a young woman in his car, who he was probably plotting to kill. They took him into custody and questioned him, thinking he matched the profile. Eventually, they returned to where he was arrested, then uncovered weapons he'd hidden before the arrest. The entire investigation earned the local police severe criticism, which was wholly justified.
Police interviewed Sutcliffe 9 times, all written up and recorded. His car was spotted 60 times and logged, but no one made the connection. So he carried on killing.
Wayne Couzens.
With his warrant card and handcuffs, Sarah Everard believed him when he stopped her in the street, accusing her of breaching lockdown. Why wouldn't she?
The horrific killing of Sarah Everard was one of the most publicised crimes of the century. It was perpetrated by Constable Wayne Couzens, who used his power as a police officer to kidnap Everard, then take her life.
And with this, the judge said Wayne Couzens had eroded public confidence in the police.
He put little effort into covering his tracks, with CCTV cameras capturing a ton of incriminating footage. For instance, he was recorded at a B&Q purchasing tools he used to hide Everard's remains. Couzens additionally did it all in a car rented in his name, then suspiciously called work sick the next day. He'd hoped his career as a constable would have allowed him to kill without consequences, but he couldn't have been more wrong.
The police did eventually catch him, but was this Met police officer turned murderer emboldened by a history of offending? The police watchdog is investigating at least 3 previous allegations of indecent exposure.
Michael and Anthony Stewart.
Michael Stewart, 57, and his brother Anthony Stewart, 60, have been found guilty of murdering Anthony Littler in East Finchley in 1984.
In 1984, Anthony Littler was jumped in a London alleyway and tragically lost his life after a fatal head injury. The culprits were 2 brothers, Michael and Anthony Stewart, who at the time were only teenagers. After committing the crime, Michael called the authorities to tell them he'd found an injured man in an alley.
After weeks of testimony, the Old Bailey's jury delivered a guilty verdict, convinced by historic police files and witness statements that implicated both brothers.
The case went cold for 40 years though, and they only prosecuted the brothers in 2026. Over time, they'd admitted to committing the murder to a variety of individuals. Additionally, the pair had a history of attacking men in the same area, usually targeting them because of their sexuality. Eventually, these admissions made their way to the police, who relaunched their investigation in 2022.
Detectives reopened the 1984 case in 2022, relying on a 999 emergency call log that placed a suspect at the scene minutes after the murder.
Neville Heath.
She met Neville Heath, probably impressed by this military bearing, and he put himself over as a lieutenant colonel.
The method this serial killer used to evade detection has to be one of the least effective covers in history. In 1946, Heath, a former lieutenant who was court-martialed in World War II, claimed 2 women's lives. In June, he checked into the Pembridge Court Hotel using his real name, but added the title of Lieutenant Colonel.
Do you remember anything of what occurred in the room?
No.
Nothing at all?
I woke up and she was lying there. I don't remember anything else.
A few nights later, hotel staff had to force their way into his room as he'd blocked access. There, they found the corpse of a young woman who Heath had dreadfully slaughtered. It made it pretty clear who did it, but the police couldn't catch him before he killed a second time. He even went a step further, joking with his victim's father about his similarity to the wanted criminal Neville Heath.
Spooner charged Heath with the murder of Marjorie Gardner. There was still, though, no sign of Doreen.
Ian Huntley.
Someone who was keen to help was a young man called Ian Huntley. He was the school caretaker and the boyfriend of the girl's favourite classroom assistant, Maxine.
The Soham murders are a nauseating tale, which involved the deaths of 2 young girls in rural Cambridgeshire in 2002. Their corpses were found unceremoniously discarded in a ditch 2 weeks after their deaths. The culprit was their local school caretaker, Ian Huntley.
The caretaker should have been suspect number 1. But what would haunt the police was the location they had based their investigations from.
While many were searching for the 2 children, Huntley made a ton of public statements to various news channels and journalists. This turned him into the local community's main spokesperson on the topic. He also began rapidly growing thin and was clearly not sleeping, then drew further attention to himself by asking officers strange questions like how long DNA evidence survives. This led to him becoming a prime suspect and eventually being put behind bars.
Mr. Justice Moses, the trial judge, has made it, and I'm hearing that Ian Huntley has been found guilty of count 1, the murder of Jessica Chapman. Ian Huntley has been found guilty of the murder of Jessica Chapman and the murder of Holly Wells, again by a majority verdict.
Stephen McCullough.
There were emotional scenes and cheers in court today as Stephen McCullough was found guilty of the murder of Natalie McNally in December 2022.
Natalie McNally was a woman from Northern Ireland who had her life ended dreadfully early on account of her boyfriend, Stephen McCullough. He carried out the murder in December 2022, and he had what he believed was the perfect alibi. McCullough decided to record 6 hours of him playing Grand Theft Auto, which featured him repeatedly murdering digital women.
I just realised I'm literally going to be drinking and driving.
Another lie.
In the game, by the way, I'm not leaving the house tonight.
Then it was broadcast as a live stream while he went to take his pregnant girlfriend's life. Detectives realized that there was no evidence it was live, as he wasn't interacting with any of his subscribers and suspiciously kept mentioning the current time.
Police had discovered the live stream wasn't live at all. Stephen McCullough had recorded it 4 days before the killing, the false alibi he'd peddled to get away with murder.
CCTV evidence revealed what he was truly doing, which became key to getting him a life sentence for his horrific deed.
Absolutely no emotion or reaction. The public gallery, full of Natalie's family, erupted. It went from cheers to tears in minutes.
Luke Mitchell.
Seldom has a defendant in Scotland been as vilified as Luke Mitchell, a child-in-law before a trial. He quickly found a new girlfriend, according to the tabloids. He was banned from school and named as the prime suspect in a police report.
In 2003, teenage Jodie Jones was stabbed to death in the woods of Dalkeith, just south of Edinburgh. Her boyfriend Luke Mitchell was charged with the crime after his incriminating behaviour when locating her remains. After she went missing, a search party was organised, and then almost immediately Mitchell found her.
Did you kill Jodie Jones?
No, I never. I wouldn't think of it.
I thought, well, you tell them. You tell them how you feel. And you tell them that you're innocent. Because this might be the only chance you'll get.
Additionally, a knife he was known to carry, plus a coat he frequently wore, had vanished. The knife was found, which had Jones's initials carved into it, alongside the dates 1989 to 2003. Despite the major clues and little effort to cover his involvement, he still maintains his innocence and somehow has an online fanbase dedicated to defending the convicted killer.
But worries within the legal and forensic world about Luke Mitchell's conviction have never completely gone away, particularly since he was tried and convicted without a shred of physical evidence against him.
Fred and Rose West.
Fred West was a chameleon. His neighbours would have told you that he was a very hard-working, likeable, friendly chap.
The Wests were one of the bloodiest couples in UK history. Over the course of 20 years, they killed over 10 women, including one of Rose's stepdaughters. On the outside, they were just a regular family, friendly with the neighbours and active in the local community.
You could put on this act as an amiable rogue, but it was only to put up some kind of disguise, and underneath that lurked this monster.
The couple's daughter, whom they did unspeakable things to, eventually became brave enough to confide in a friend who told their mother, who quickly alerted the authorities.
25 Cromwell Street was demolished in an attempt to erase the memory of West's atrocities.
It didn't take long for all their children to be placed in foster care, and their decades-long house of horrors finally came to an end.
For Caroline Owens, forgetting her ordeal will not be so easy.
They've took it all down now and turned it into this walkway.
Harold Shipman.
He was a pillar of the community. Yet Dr. Harold Frederick Shipman began killing his patients in his mid-20s and evaded detection for over 27 years.
Unlike a lot of serial killers, Shipman would have created detailed documents of his victims' deaths. That's because he was a doctor, so his cover was that he was simply doing his job. Shipman primarily targeted the elderly, then would prescribe them lethal doses of medicine.
When Shipman joined the Donnybrook practice, he'd already killed sporadically. But in Hyde, he established a method of killing almost impossible to uncover.
Sometimes he'd forge their wills and claim their cash, but there's no explanation for most of his crimes. This took place over the course of 30 years, and it's believed he killed hundreds of patients. Before giving a motivation for his heinous crimes, Shipman's lifeless body was found in his cell, deciding to take his own life rather than face the consequences of his actions.
His preferred method was to inject them at their homes with diamorphine he'd obtained by falsifying prescriptions.
John Christie.
That's it. Shut your eyes now then. Start your breathing then. Breathe quite deeply. Breathe. Breathe.
It smells a bit funny, Mr. Christie.
For a brief period, Christie had gotten away with multiple murders and seemed like it would remain that way. In the 40s and 50s, he claimed 8 lives at his home in London. 2 of these were his neighbours, Beryl Evans and her infant daughter.
Timothy John Evans, the court has found you guilty of wilful murder. And the sentence of the court upon you is that you be taken from this place to a lawful prison and thence to a place of execution.
Christie managed to frame their husband, Timothy Evans, for the unsettling killings, leading him to receive a death penalty despite being innocent. Christie made himself a major witness in Evans' trial, meaning he was pivotal to getting him executed. 3 years later, they realized he was responsible and that they'd made a grave mistake pointing the finger at Evans. Are there any other topics you'd like us to cover, whether that's more true crime or something completely different? Let us know in those comments below.